I admittedly was not productive on our email campaign.
Okay.
Anybody else make some progress?
I was able to. On a couple of different things, and again, some of this may be apropos, some of it might not be. I haven't checked my email this morning. Did Jim say that he's going to be able to make it, or no?
He didn't say anything. So I assume he's probably getting on the road. I'm looking for our... There it is. It always takes me a while. When my laptop reboots, it takes me a while to find everything again.
I know that pain. Troy shaking his head too.
Yeah, it's terrible. Try to find our...
And it doesn't help when you've got like 4 Google profiles open, and in each one of those, there's like 38 things open. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It took me a hot minute to find what I was looking for. I'm just on the email campaign document.
Okay. Which one's that?
Email campaign.
General email campaign.
Checking that out. Is that where you made progress?
I didn't put it in that because I wanted to kind of go over what I did do and then say, okay, is this the direction that we're trying to go in? So I did 6 emails for what's my program topic. This will all make sense when I show you the sort of outline, I guess, because I want to make sure that I'm on the same page as everybody else when it comes to the email flow. Because there's what I think and what we talked about on Thursday, and then there might be the reality. So just want to make sure that I'm kind of doing what I need to do here.
Did I miss any decision points after I jumped off? You guys are probably on for another hour, weren't you?
It was
a long time.
About. Yeah. But it was a good conversation. It got us, it moved the needle, in my opinion. So, Jim, I thought you'd be on the road, man.
I got a short week this week, so I don't have to go into the office.
That's good.
Yeah. Loving life. How are you gents doing?
Pretty good. I got an email, but there was a Teams chat message that came through that as I was trying to digest what I have to get done this week, ran across, and they're like, hey, this is HR. Don't tell customer service but everybody else can have Friday as a floating holiday. It's like, okay, I'll take that.
Long
Just make sure you don't tell anybody in customer service because they got to work. All right, where to begin? All right, we're going to talk emails today, and if you made progress, great. If you didn't, no big deal. We'll keep things rolling. I'm going to share my screen, and I think I'm going to start with this. And kind of roll from there. Should not see screen. That's great. That's what I want them to do. So I went into Bubble, and forgive like how small this might come out, but I went into Bubble and was just like, all right, I need to like visualize what we're talking about when it comes to emails. Okay. So there's, I think, a couple of different schools of thought here. And the one that I think we've agreed on is something like this. And if it's not, just tell me so I can rearrange, and then I'm squared away and you don't have to worry about me anymore. So what we've been talking about is essentially like 30 emails, right? A general sort of 30 email sequence. In my head, the way that that looks is something like this. So email one is a value plus offer, which means essentially a link to the course of Learn to Craft Your Message. Okay? That link in email one goes to the course on the site, and should they not buy, there's a 3 email sequence for not buying. Okay? General email 2, same thing, different wording, if you will, on the value and how you put the offer out there. Has a link. They don't buy. They go to the 3 email sequence. Number 3, same thing. All of this driving towards Learn to Craft Your Message. Okay? Email 4 breaks that chain and is a value-only offer. And this, you could say this is a transition email to creating an automated email sequence, whatever you want. Okay? But there's a transition one that doesn't have an offer in it, doesn't guide you towards anything, just offers value and maybe gives you a heads up on what's next. And then that goes into a 3 email sequence for create automated email follow-up sequence. And it says the same thing. So if it'll have a link, go to it. If not, they'll go to the 3 didn't buy email sequence. And it just goes through that whole process for the products that we currently have on the site. So 3 value plus offers and then a break. 3 value plus offers, then a break. 3 value offers plus blah, blah. And currently that would get us to 28 emails if it was in that process. Now, in my head, and again, this has got box of chicken and a bunch of nuts in there, so I'm in the next probably week or so, we want to have a conversation about what that needs to look like so that we can put some kind of sort of plan together on either what needs to happen or what we think should be those products so that we can put it in the sequence. Otherwise, we kind of end at 20 and then go from there. Or if we wanted to, we could break this up, and the first stuff that goes out or in between some of the courses, we could do the exact same thing that I'm showing here, but for the free stuff, like for the productivity, like Fearless You, or 9 reasons you want to work with a small business coach, whatever that looks like. So there's things that could be popped in there that don't necessarily go to a paid offer, but could go to a free offer. And that would most certainly round it out just with that free stuff, well beyond 30 total emails. Now, I know I just threw a lot at you guys, so questions, comments, snide remarks.
So from a general question.
Yeah.
Best practice general audience email campaign. What's the ratio of value to sales? Best practice.
I don't know. I haven't really sold anything.
I don't know.
What's that, Troy?
I
Oh, I'm
haven't
sorry.
said
You put something down. I thought you said something at the same time. You put something down and it just made the noise. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
And I think we'd find that there's a number of different philosophies on what that is, right? I think we talked about before, like 3 and 2, or it probably just all depends, right? You don't want to come off too salesy. You want to add value to keep your client engaged. So I don't know if there is a right answer. I think, Matt, you may have mentioned it last week. I think that until we really start sending these out, we're not going to know, right? Potentially.
I think data is
Um,
extraordinarily important. I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of just giving ourselves an idea of what to do. This is not like this layout. This isn't baked. This isn't. I mean, if what we if this is what I'm looking for is just the flow. Like take out, like for example, emails 1 and 2. Take out the link. Take out the follow. Take out all that shit, and it's just an email for value. But for learn to craft your message, or about learn to craft your message. And if there is a link of any kind, it's just maybe in the signature to cohortiv.com.
So here, I want to posit a question to you guys real quick, just and hold that thought. And Jim, I'm sorry to jump in and interject right here. But let me ask you this: are these offers? Are these published price offers where we're giving them an opportunity to buy at what we've got listed on the site, or are these like email exclusive type offers?
My thought process in putting this together was listed.
Okay.
Not exclusive, member, anything like that. Because again, for me, this was more general flow. And again, not baked. I just needed something that I could see and go, okay, this is what the customer journey is going to look like. So if they are here, they're going to go here. And then that's going to go there. And then they'll jump back in over here. Got it.
So maybe if we're going to maybe Troy's question, that was my thought too. That was initially just list. I think that's what we were all thinking. But I like the idea of an exclusive. You're on our email list. Here's an exclusive offer. Right now we're selling these at what, $9.98 or whatever it is. Maybe we do a 99-cent. Something just to. I mean, this is old, kind of cold/warm market at this point for a lot of us. So we give them a value like that. Maybe we'll get a little more action off the gun.
And each of these links is to a funnel, right?
Yes, it would be to the funnel.
Okay.
So I agree with Jim. I think that because they're in our email list, there needs to be an era of exclusivity, and we give them that. But then in doing so, we can add an email or two on just losing out on the offer, on the opportunity for that offer, so that we can institute like the 3 follow-ups when they click on a link but don't buy. We can institute kind of the same psychology where, like, email number 3, so you have email 1, which is value plus seed of the offer with a link. Email 2 is additional value with seed to the offer plus a link. Email 3 would be value plus a call to action on the offer, a hard call to action on the offer, and have that call to action based around that the same prospect as the didn't buy. So a gain. So that would be with hard CTA on gain. And then we can add in another email with less value and a hard CTA with fear that they're going to lose out on the opportunity to have exclusive access to it or whatever. Or we can do gain, and then we can do logic, and then we can do fear. We can have however you want, but if it's going to be exclusive, then this is the takeaway. This is the retract the offer. Make it limited time, etc. So just enhance that feel of exclusivity.
You see these 3 as gain, logic, fear?
I wouldn't.
Or these as gain, logic, fear?
Yes, but no. So up there where you have email 1, 2, and 3, I would add email 4 and 5. Email 1 is just value plus plus the offer. No hard CTA. Right? Email 2 is the same, just lots of value plus a seed to the offer, no hard CTA. Email 3 starts the hard CTA, so you have value, a certain level of value, whatever it is that you decide to do, and then your hard CTA is, well, I guess that first one would be logic based. So that one, email 3, would be your logic based CTA. And then email 4 would be exactly the same as email 3, except with a gain based CTA. Then email 5 would be your fear-based CTA. If we wanted to go as many as 5. But if it's exclusive, then let's leverage that opportunity to take it away from them.
How does that work from a logistics standpoint in Kartra and a timing perspective? Is that timed after we send after they get tagged to the email campaign? Does that clock start? And do we have to build out different links for each one?
What do you mean?
I'm just trying to think logically how that works.
Yeah,
or is it just or do we just email 1? If they'd ever go back to email 1, they could still take the offer at that rate, essentially. We don't really care, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're creating the urgency in their mind. And the average person's probably going to go, oh my God, okay, if I missed it and I still want it, I'm going to click this link.
Mm-hmm.
Not going back to the first email, which would still work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Brian, what are your thoughts on that? Am I what do you think about? I'm not saying like to use Matt's phrase, not it's not baked in the cake. Um, what do you think of that approach? What are your thoughts?
I like it. I might throw out the idea of doing a little work up front to get some momentum in the email distribution list first.
Okay.
And then lead in. For example, if we could all do a big campaign to push folks to our distribution list with a lead magnet or even just a, hey, do me a favor, here's a form, join our list, we're going to have exclusive offers, just to build it up, do some intro work, and then launch offer one just to get some momentum. That's my only thought. Otherwise, exclusive offers to the group is, I like it. And the idea of taking that away to create urgency. It all makes sense to me.
Matt, what do you think?
I'm good with it. Like I guess how to I don't see any flaw in it because there's nothing telling me that there is any flaw in it. So what I'm looking for is, okay, like what needs to happen to put whatever the plan is on paper. So that's why I wanted to put this together was, okay, this is sort of the plan. Now, if that's the way we're going to go, which I am completely fine with, what are the next steps? What do we not have? Because we have a general email sequence, right? And I'm trying to figure out where that falls into this, but it sounds like it's two different things. So now it's like, okay, well, where is one appropriate and the other is not? Because if all of this is going out to people that we have in our distribution list, what is the difference between this and a general email sequence? Because we're talking about just doing one email per day, right? So if we're doing one email per day, and then we're going across the board with these emails that are leading into offers, then I'm trying to figure out where the place for the general email sequence is.
Doesn't this take it over?
This would essentially take it over in my mind.
Because I think the general audience email list, if someone signs up now, it's fairly limited. So in other words, this could be the general audience campaign until we finish this run.
I mean, even then, you could just circle right back.
You could, or you could do new releases, or you could take a break and do value.
Yep.
There's a lot of things we could do, but this would give us a month to figure that out.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be our general sequence. I mean, to me, this makes sense. And going back to our original document, over the weekend I did add some introductory emails to that we can slide into the front of this. So to your point, Brian, on warming them up before we start hitting them with offers. And really how they go is just kind of a welcome to the Cohort IV. It's sort of a introduction to the four coaches and tells them who we are and what we are. And then there's an email for each one of us. Here's Brian, here's Jim, here's Matt, here's Troy. So an email each day on a different coach. So sort of building that brand before we just trip in. And then I can always add one here to this. Yeah, then I go into complimentary goodies, so sort of pointing them to the website initially. And we have some free stuff if you want to go check out the website. We have ways to boost your business, ways to know and grow your business. Another email on unlocking success. Again, all things we could tweak or take out, whatever whatever you guys feel once you start looking at it. And then we can add that momentum email that you talked about, Brian. Sort of a, hey, we're gonna start hitting you up with some offers now because you probably looked at the website. We want to make sure that you know exactly what's out there. Let's start getting you going, and then jump into the sequence.
Yeah, that seems legit. So this first welcome to the Cohort IB go to not only who the folks that we have in our distribution list now, like the existing, but anyone new to the list would go directly to that. Is that the plan? They would start with this introductory email.
I don't think that they would come in on like email 6 because that's where the whole thing started. If that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, let me ask a question a different way. Is this introductory email appropriate for both existing list members and new list members?
Were you talking the few that I threw out there in the Google Doc at the top?
You already know at least one of the ugly fellows pictured below. I think it would be, but I was just asking the question for group, not buy-in, but thought. I think it would work for both groups, personally.
I don't know. It may or may not. I think it starts to depend on. We got to think about where our new customers come in at. So are they coming in on the workbook journal? Because we're gonna have different stages. It's at points in time here. Some are gonna come in on the journal end, or some are gonna come in on whatever, box of chicken in the future. So we need to maybe consider the general audience campaign and how that makes sense to somebody coming in that I don't know. I don't have the answer for that one off the top of my head. I mean,
I'm seeing where you're going with this, Jim. It's a differentiation between are they coming in warm or are they coming in cold? If
Right.
they're coming in cold, it's coming in from an ad that we haven't done yet, something to that effect. If it's coming in slightly warm, like from organic content, then that particular line, you already know one of these people, makes sense. So it may be just a wording thing, like it just changing a couple of sentences around to making it more universal, so that it would apply to both cold and warm, if that's what we want to do.
Or we could also, if there's an ad in the future, we could add a short campaign that warms them up before we dump them into this.
Mm-hmm.
If they're cold. I don't know that this is. I don't have any mechanisms in place where it would be reaching a cold audience necessarily. I also don't have any way to know the difference. So if somebody saw a public post from me, I would not know the difference between them being cold and warm. So are you saying we modify it in case they're cold?
I would say if you're going to if you have questions then about the validity of the email campaign and who it's speaking to, then it's the lowest common denominator. It's what is going to be the most accessible language for whoever sees it. So take out, for instance, any ads or anything going on. If we look at the structure right now, if somebody were to come in how do we want to have essentially one email sequence that they're going to get jumped into? So it should be 3 or 4 general intros, Like, here's what to expect in the coming weeks, whatever. By the way, go ahead and download this freebie or that freebie, so on and so forth. I think we're trying. It sounds like we're trying to come up with several different email sequences for different scenarios, and I'm looking for the one that can go out today.
Yeah, it may be as simple as adding one introductory email to the front of this that's more welcoming to all audiences.
I mean, I would be fine with. I would think it would be okay if it was several. If it was 3 or 4,
Yeah.
from wherever they start. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that in terms of just, again, even warming that email audience, because
Yeah.
Well, I just think it makes sense.
That's fine.
What that number is, I don't know. Is it 3?
I like
Is
the
it
idea.
5?
I like just having a sequence. And
For now.
And something that we can just get out. Troy, I muted you for a minute.
What's that?
He's over there building a cabinet or something.
Nope.
I know, he's a maker.
Nope. I'm looking for my
He
damn.
might be perfecting a firearm. We don't know.
No, I'm looking for my dry erase markers because I think it's time to break out the board.
So, I mean, I'm fine with trying to get that put together, like in terms of anywhere from a 3 to 5 intro email sequence that leads into an offer email sequence that is around 5 emails to value, and then we roll into logic game, and then fear-based with timed offers. And do that sequentially for each of the offers that we have currently on the site. The question then kind of becomes, at least for me, like, for the timed offer to be valid, there has to be a way to put those roadblocks on, and I don't know how to do that. So if there's a way, like, is it a link that is a timed link? Like, I guess I'm moving now from email sequence to execution of the plan. They go through the first 2 emails, they click the link, they don't click the link, whatever. Then we start into this, time-based language with a link. So what happens if on day 30 they come back for whatever reason to email 3 and click that link? It was a timed offer. Does it still have the ability to give them the discounted price? Not that we really care, I don't think, but at the same time, one of the things, and this actually happened to me recently, one of the things I absolutely hate is marketers putting scarcity out there, and then in a very short amount of time, putting things out there that give you the impression that, well, it really wasn't scarce. Like, you've only got 50 seats, and it's been a week, and on the day of the webinar, you had 22 people sign up, and now you're telling me I've got an hour to sign up after a week, and half the people have already, no, that's not really down with that. But again, I don't think necessarily we care, but I'm just putting that out there. Like, I don't know what kind of impression that leaves when you put out false scarcity.
That's a fair question. Maybe instead of taking it away, it's a moving on to the next. And maybe we talk about how this is potentially sequential and it builds. Otherwise, we just have to do more work on the funnel to make it. I guess turn the funnel off. I guess we just turn it off. Or could we just increase the price again? So change that funnel back to full price.
Well,
some of this is logistics, right? It's the what can Kartra do for us?
yeah. Because again, people are going to be jumping in different.
Correct. So we can't.
Yeah.
We can't really turn it off until. You can't really turn it off. So maybe we don't. Maybe it's not fear that's going away. Maybe it's fear that we're moving on. Sorry, Jim. What was that?
No, you're fine. I was looking here at coupons. Coupons in Kartra, and I'm not familiar enough with Kartra and if there's any kind of expiration we can put on stuff. Coupon looks like there's expirations, but it's date, which isn't going to help because we don't know when they're coming into the funnel.
Right.
The other thing I'm thinking as we're sitting here talking, what does this do if we want to make this campaign, I'm assuming, so once we set it and forget it, right? We don't want to be going back 2 months from now and redoing this whole thing. What does this do to the person who comes in, who buys something along this line in the future before they get into the funnel? And then say they buy perpetual burp for $9.98 because they saw an ad. Now they're dropped into here and they don't click until they hit that part of the funnel. Now they're like, hey, you can get this perpetual burp for 99 cents and it's a limited time offer. Now they're like, wait, I just paid $10 for this 2 weeks ago and now you guys are offering this to me for 99 cents.
So can I answer that? And some of the others that have been brought up. So if you go into Kartra and you look at sequencing in the communications tab, you can have all these if this, then that options. And so everybody who comes in, wherever they come in from, let's say we do a referral program and they come in ice cold from somebody who's currently on our list. We can have an email sequence that we write just for them to introduce them to us, to get them caught up to speed, and then dump them into the general audience. If somebody, so you tag everybody. So they have tags. If they get tagged as a Learn to Craft Your Message buyer, then they don't get that part of the sequence. Then it automatically jumps them to the next one in line. So you don't have that. So we have all that in sequencing and tagging. How it's going to depend on how we tag them, how we manage our tags, and how we craft each individual sequence. So you have multiple sequences in a campaign, right? So you have a campaign that goes out, a grand campaign, your general audience campaign, or whatever it is. You have this grand campaign, and you have various sequences in there. And that's what these are. So, if they go through Learn to Craft Your Message and they don't buy anything in here, 6 months from now, we can revisit with a new Learn to Craft Your Message email sequence. But if they do buy, then they get omitted from that sequence because they are tagged. So all of this is everything that and my kids must have got into my dry erase because every fucking one of them but the dead one is gone. Smart enough to leave the one that doesn't work, right? So
The question is, did you put it back in the drawer or did you throw it in the garbage?
it's back in the drawer.
Yeah, right.
That way I'm not without one. At least I have one that doesn't work, right? But we can, Kartra will control all of that as long as we just tell it how we want it done. And we tag them appropriately.
Okay. No, that makes sense. So we're going to build each of these as their own sequence. So each of these sections, and then as we launch them, so learn to craft your message is done. At the end of that, it's going to kick them over to create your automated email follow-up sequences campaign. Unless they aren't tagged for it, they'll get skipped and go right over to create a professional blurb.
Yeah. Hey Matt, can you open up Kartra? And I apologize for all the noise earlier. I thought I had me on mute.
Where you need me?
Yep. Go into communications. And go up to communications. All the way up.
So I gotta move this thing. Hold on a second. Okay.
All right. And then, yeah, sequences. And just go down and hit start a new one. Right. Title it general audience or intro sequence or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Right. So the very first thing, yeah, click on the plus. All right. Let's say they come in from an opt-in form. So click on the option for the opt-in form. Newsletter or go down to workbook and journal. Okay, and then save. All right, now go over to send email on the left. And drag it over and put it underneath it. Okay, hit next. Yeah, we want it to come out any day of the week, and we want it to come out right after they submit that form. So leave all that as is and hit next. And we're gonna name this one thank you for downloading. All right. Change the name, sender name to the cohort. And change from email to support at the cohort. And then same with reply. recipients, click down on select, anyone reaching this step, hit add. You don't have to worry about that one yet. Go up to next, and single email, yep. Yeah, go ahead and hit next. This is where you draft your email, so just put something in there. Put just test, test, and test or something. All right, hit next. Okay, now hit new automation. And now you have all the if and then statements. So if they open this email, what happens? If they don't open this email, what happens? If they click on a link in here, what happens? If they click on a link in here and don't buy, what happens? So we have all that ifs, and then we have the corresponding thens. So you can build out this entire freaking campaign with all these sequences. We can jump if they reach the, if they have read this email and it's the last email of your sequence there, when they read this email, what happens next? They get bumped to a new sequence, and that can be in. So if you just click on opens this email and hit add, and then select and scroll down. Move to another step, and then you get to pause the current flow, or see. So if they open this email and so that you're going from product A, product B is next, but they open this email, do you pause this current flow? If you have more flows in here, then it'll say things like skip the next flow. It'll say things like move to the end of the sequence. So you get to direct every bit of the traffic with this tool. So a lot of the questions that we've had, a lot of the not even objections, just hey, how do we do this? It's all right here. This handles every bit.
We have the ability. Yeah. So that makes sense. But it also means that when we get to that point, I guess it's a good question, but do we want to have the email?
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you got to move forward.
Sorry. Do we want to have the email flow in here in its totality before we start putting in the if-thens? Or do we need all the if-thens in there?
So X out of this. Right? And hit create. So you can go in and input all of your emails and then go in and assign if-thens. So this is part of the reason why I stayed with Kartra. They do have some faults, but Kajabi, for the price of Kajabi, it didn't even have an automations creation wizard, anything like this. This is the most robust I had seen when I when I signed up with them and moved all my shit over, or most of my shit anyway. Then you can tag them. You can tag them as, they didn't open any of the craft your message emails. Tag them as not having opened any of those emails. So then if they have an email, if they have a tag that did not open craft your message emails, then you can go back to it and have the sequence start again some other time. You can add it in the automations, in the if-thens. Same with every time they buy something. Same with every time they click on something but don't buy. Does this kind of help clarify some of it?
For me, yes.
Jim?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I think we might still have the question out there about the discount and how that's handled. If we,
So that's handled in the funnel. So you just have that funnel. You have to clone a funnel and have a discount in it. So then you have just a new pricing scheme. When you go into the products, you can have all these different prices. You can have an infinite number of prices, or you can give them a coupon code.
right, but we don't have any way of expiring, right? We can't
No,
expire
you can't.
coupons, but
And the only way to expire the pricing in the funnel is to disable the funnel.
and we can't disable it at the individual level, right? It's
Per
either
person?
open or closed. Right.
No, you can do that through tagging. So once we have them tagged with something, we can. They no longer have access to that funnel because of a tag that they have.
Okay. And what kind of an error message did they get? Is it a 404?
Nope, it's a redirect. They get sent somewhere else.
Okay.
So now do we need to build in all the if then what else on top of I will eat it here or there with a fox with the socks into the bubble chart?
If you want to, that's doubling up on the work. You can just transfer all that stuff over to the sequence chart. So Matt, if you go back into Kartra, all right, and get out of this, go back a page, and go up to Advanced Automations. All right, go down and click and start a new one. And if select on lead fills in a form and the workbook. Then subscribe to sequence. All right. And where's the sequence you just started? And select step, send the first email. Add save. Now, go to that, and you should have an edit. I can't see it because my shit's in the way. Disregard. Hit cancel. I took you to the wrong direction. Yeah, disregard. I took you in the wrong direction. I think I'm confusing this with another platform, because it brought up in the other platform I'm thinking of, it brought up a literal whiteboard like the sequences, but it was advanced and it covered the entire your entire website. So go back to sequences. Right, open up your intro sequence again. And click on basic automations over on the left. Yeah, click next. And next. And so, yeah, click on the if. And now scroll down. Keep scrolling down. Maybe we don't have it built into it yet. Maybe that's the problem. But if I recall correctly, with Kartra, this is where it has the disable an offer. But maybe we don't have, since we don't have any offers in this sequence yet. Right. So you can X out of that. Yeah, I think I think that's where it would have to be at in this one. But then you can click on them and move them around. So if you go to starting rules and see the little gray box underneath, or a little gray half circle underneath starting rules. All right, drag that down to the top there. So now you have, now it is linear sequence. Okay. So you can have another one, another piece of the sequence that you add next to it, where if they do something in the starting rules, they have two options: go through door number 1 or door number 2. So now you can add another, like subscribe to a list. Subscribe, unsubscribe, and subscribe. Yeah, drag that over. So now you're in list building. So you're going to subscribe them to going subscribe them to lead. Right? And then, yeah, drag your arrow over. Or maybe not. Go from the top on the left one on the email. You might have to go from bottom. It's been a minute since I've used this one. And then drag it to the top of the other one. Oh, it's because of the starting rules. It's because of what our starting rules are. We don't have an option in there for an A or B, so it's not going to let you split them. But if you have an A or B option, like in the email, does not open, what do? Does open, what do? Opens but doesn't click on a link, what do? So then you can put those options in there. So that takes some of the mystery out of it.
Some, yes. Like for the scenario that you just put out there where they, I guess this is, well, no. With this particular sequence, they would have opted in something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not necessarily an if then.
In the
Because
opt-in?
the only way well, there's only one way to get to where we're at right now, and that's if you actually fill in the form and hit go.
Mm-hmm.
And that would auto tag them. So that's not what I want to do.
Now see, you can go over to page visit. So if they get into your funnel and they visit your funnel but they don't buy, then you can expire their access to the funnel.
Okay.
So we could apply this to every sequence.
Yeah,
Each of these offers being a sequence.
yeah, every one of them.
Okay, and if they're tagged a specific way, they can skip the whole sequence.
Mm-hmm.
There's some logic thought associated with this.
Yeah, it definitely one of those things where like gonna need a very large whiteboard.
Exactly.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but remember how last week I was talking about when they go through a sequence and they go in and they buy, so they get sent to another offer, they get started in a new sequence, and then they go in, they buy, and then eventually they go back into the general audience sequence and they pick up right where they left off. This is how you do it, is you pick which step they go back to. So if they go all the way through craft your message and they never click a link, where do they go to next? They go to the first one of the next sequence, right? Or you can send them back through that sequence again if they never open the emails. You can keep sending those emails until they open them. Then go back to the beginning of the sequence. Or you can move them to the next sequence. Or if they go in and they don't click a link, then you send them to the next sequence, or you send them back into general audience where they pick up where they left off, or however the hell it is that up. Or you put in a new sequence for, hey, you visited but you didn't buy. What the hell's going on? Are you stupid? Let's talk about this shit. You know, however the hell it is you want to do. You can add any option at all. Am I as clear as mud?
I don't think it's mud. I think it's
At least David water.
dishwater.
Dishwater? Okay.
Maybe.
All right. All right. Cool.
So, all right, let me, because I've got a 9:30 that I absolutely have to be on. This, I don't think I'm sharing my screen. This process right here,
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would technically be 6. 2 questions. 1, do we need these in betweens? Because we talked last week about having, some sort of transition email, some sort of bridge between each workflow or each email group. Number 1, I say yes, but that's just me. Number 2, do we have a particular order of the main topics or the course order for the emails themselves? So, i.e., do we start with learn to craft, then go into create, then, create automated email, then create professional blurb, so on and so forth?
So
Are there any
I think before we talked about going craft your message, what's my topic, create your blurb, product branding, and then email marketing funnel, and then lead into how to properly create a digital course. I think that's what we talked about before. It's in the Google Doc. But I think to your question on adding those emails to link in between, based on what we're talking about, I don't know if that's gonna, because we think like what we're talking about just now about the sequencing and tagging folks. So if somebody does have the what's my topic, when they come back into the funnel later, they're not going to go through that transition. They're going to go to product branding. So we have to be careful, I think, how we link those emails now at this point. We can't really assume that they're all going to transition from this one to this one to this one, because that might not necessarily happen. I mean, maybe having a value email in the beginning of the sequence is good, just so we're not always coming off as sales pitchy. Like maybe like a, hey, how's things going with you guys, or whatever, or hey, have you learned? Have you ever thought of this tip or whatever? Something that's not, salesy, but also isn't so specific that it's directly linking. Hey, we already talked about product branding. Now, do you want to create your blurb? Does that make sense? Or
So
No, it's like, good, Troy.
No, you first.
I was just going to say, I mean, it makes sense to me to have some sort of transition in there, and to your point, and to not just beat them over the head with offer. Like, forget it. And that's what I'm saying. I would want to put those in there just for that purpose. Call it breaking up the monotony, whatever you want. I think at least where we're at right this second, without thinking about where people are jumping in and jumping off, like just bare bones putting a skeleton together to work off of, is this the flow that we want? Learn to craft message, then what's my topic? Again, transition emails in there being what they are. Product branding workbook, then go into create a professional blurb, then digital course, then box of chicken, then bunch of nuts. Whatever those end up being.
Or actually, maybe just what I just said, because maybe it does make sense to put those transitional emails. They'd have to be their own sequence, though, right? Or we put in. I guess what I'm having trouble with is if you have create your professional blurb and you have email 16 that value only. If that value only is as long as it doesn't transition between creating your blurb and how to properly create a digital business, I think we're okay. Unless I'm overthinking this, which is possible because I do that a lot. But if we link it, and where does it sit? Does it sit in the sequence for the blurb, or does it sit in the beginning of how to create your course? Or how? Yeah.
I would look at each of these that currently say value only, call it transition email, whatever you want, would be for the sequence following. So for example, in what we're seeing here, email 16 value only would essentially be a lead-in for a transition to how to properly create a digital course.
Okay. So with that, we'd want to actually house that in that funnel, in that sequence of how to create your course then, right? We don't want it standing alone. If we're thinking about this is how we're going to build it out in Kartra.
That's how I'm thinking about it.
Right. So we don't want that standing alone. We want that to actually be the first email then of that sequence.
Don't these need to stand alone though, in case somebody needs to skip them?
Well, I think they will in Kartra. That's what we're doing here. I think we're building these so they're going to be their own standalone sequence. So that's where I'm, just how it's sitting here on the flow right now, like we're looking at email 16. That would have to actually be the first email in the sequence of how to create your digital course.
If I'm not mistaken, this could be one long email sequence in Kartra, singular. And then as you're doing whatever if-then jumping around, when you identify the sequence you want them to jump to, you can pick the same one and then just tell it what step it is. So if this was email 16 is step 38 or whatever that looks like, as an if-then from another part, you can just be like, if this happens, send them to step email 16.
Okay. Forget everything I said then. Sorry. I saw Troy nodding too, so that makes sense. And from a Kartra standpoint, that it was just me being confused. And
so I mean, yes, it sounds like there's two ways to do it. Each of these could be their own bucketed email sequence that you're referencing in an if-then, but it could also be the same one that you're referencing if it's all in a line, if you wanted it to do it that way. I don't know best practice for that. I don't know if it makes more sense to have, what is this, currently 9 different email sequences where it starts with a transition email and then into the call it to value and then move into the 3, logic, gain, fear, and then that compartmentalized into 7 emails of itself and then something else, or if it makes more sense to just have one email sequence to rule them all.
So my experience, what I found was it serves me better to be able to see them all on one page, because I'm not good enough at recognizing the sequences when they're off screen. Even though you title them, but having them all on one screen like this, like if you did different bubble.us whiteboards, then they're out of sight, and that shit screwed me up, not having it there because then I'm skipping sequences, I'm missing stuff. But if you have it all right there, all in a line, then you can start drawing your arrows essentially back and forth with your if-thens. And then I don't know, maybe we'll just put notes in the title, of where it's coming from and where it's going to.
Okay. So to start out with, we're going to have one sequence that houses all of this. Sounds like we're okay with the overall course, like how each sequence jumps from one course to the next in this order. So start with learn to craft. What's my topic? Product branding. Create professional blurb. Digital course. We're good with that. Okay. Then it's a matter of taking each of these and getting them squared away into this format. One or two value plus offer emails, and then we move into logic, gain, fear, transition email, and then into the next step. Yes? Okay. And so on and so forth until we get to a point where we can't move forward. And that's just laying the skeleton down. That's not talking about the if-thens just yet. It's like, have something in Kartra to actually work with. Okay. Do we want to call this intro sequence?
Sure. We've already got it there and named.
Okay. Okay. So I've got emails for what's my topic that I can manipulate into this format. And I can certainly go through and do the rest, unless, of course, we've already got emails that we want to use that follow that format.
Yeah, I have product branding, email marketing funnel. I can make sure they're aligned to this format.
Okay.
I've got crafter message all written. It's not in our document yet, but they're written. The emails and the fear, gain, and logic. But I've only done 3 emails. I'll have to go back and do email 4 and 5 and a value only intro. Oh no, scratch that. I have a value only intro. I need to go back and do 4 and 5.
So learn is basically just needs a little work. What's my topic? I got that one. Just needs a little work. Product branding just needs a little work. Professional blurb.
So that was my name on it. I haven't started that one yet.
Digital course.
I think we'd originally planned on everybody sort of spearheading that one. This was old format. We haven't assigned it to anybody, is the short answer.
Okay,
It's
no
also
problem.
last on the list.
It's last, yeah.
Because there's also email marketing funnel and this list on the Google Doc.
Everything that I have labeled out here is what's already live, like it's already on .com. So I didn't go beyond that because we hadn't launched any of those other ones.
Yeah, slide over, Matt, to the left. I think we had the email marketing funnel on here. I wonder if these just aren't.
in order.
It was. I thought I saw it.
It probably was. Oh, I know what happened. I took what's my topic and threw it in there, and then took out the other. Okay.
So
So
that
you
was
can
right
check,
before,
take this
right before
one.
the course.
You want it before the course?
That's where it is in the Google Doc.
Yeah, I mean, that order wasn't viable. I think it was just what we had talked about a couple calls ago. I mean, we can always move these around if it makes more sense. And once we throw them in Kartra, that's a real easy. It looks like from a sequence, then we can move these around all over the place. So for now, I guess our focus is writing emails out, right? Getting those. Do we want to put those directly into Kartra, or do we want them in a Google Doc to review easier before we paste them into Kartra? What's everybody's preference from a review standpoint? Because we want all eyes on these, right? We don't want like just me sitting there putting emails together without everybody agreeing that Jim's not nutty.
I mean,
Is it easier to review in a Google Doc or in Kartra?
You know, for what it's worth, I don't feel like I need to review your guys' work.
throw it in Kartra.
Sounds good.
What was this one again? It was create an email follow up, and then what? I mean, I could probably find it here. Do we want to have any for the freebies?
I think that's maybe the introductory emails, right? Within there, like, hey, check out this freebie you can download from the cohort. Or no?
If they haven't already gotten it,
Right.
I think a lot of folks will come in that way. Or a lot of folks might have come in that way.
I mean, we don't have to get too complex with the freebies because if they already grabbed it and we're still sending it free, we don't have to worry about any kind of time limitation or anything on it like we do with the offers.
I think that we could probably simplify that by just saying, you know, if there's a freebie that you haven't got, go over to the website and have a link to the freebies collection, so they can download whatever they want. I don't think we need to recreate the wheel on that one.
Okay. So as we get these emails complete, just go back into that intro sequence in Kartra. And I mean, you don't even as long as they're in there, I don't know that we necessarily have to link them. Just yet. Unless you guys want me to share this somehow.
No, I don't think so. I think once we get them in Kartra, you know, you can select all those steps and move them around just like you do on here. So
Okay.
if we want to move them in Kartra, then we do that.
I'm only bringing this up from a naming convention aspect. So when we get it into the intro sequence, you know, whatever that top line name is that shows up in the bubble, minus obviously whatever the content is, that we're just able to identify what's the course it's talking about and which email that particular one is.
sure. Then
I mean, I don't know that that necessarily needs to be a consensus thing. As long as it's obvious what it is, then we should be okay. You know, what's my topic? Email 1. What's my topic? Email 3. What's my topic? Email 4. Whatever that looks like. Cool.
Cool. And one last question, maybe. I know you got to run, Matt, but so we're talking email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're talking the value and the offer. Are we initially going to send it to them at the full price offer on emails 1 and 2? Is that the thought? And if they don't purchase it by then, we click them with email 3 with the cloned funnel, or do we start off immediately with the 99-cent offer and we're cloning our funnels for these now?
I mean, if this is meant for a warm audience that we are trying to get engagement on, then I mean, you hit them out of the gate. Like, there's no reason, in my opinion, to deny them in the first 2 emails the offer that you're going to give them in the last 3 before transitioning. I just think that the emphasis is different. You know, it's, hey, check it out. It's a discount. You should go over there and grab it.
Okay, sounds
Same
good.
with the next.
Just
It's
wanted to
like,
be clear.
hey, you haven't done this yet. You need to do it now.
Yeah, I think we're offering value for being in our list.
Yep. Okay, makes sense. All right,
Cool.
so next steps is we get these emails out and we clone all of our funnels and get our links going. Cool.
Awesome. Talk to you guys Thursday. I got a bolt.
See you, Matt.
See ya.
So these all require a new funnel with a discounted price? Like, how does that work?
I think it will, right? Troy, or is there something?
Yep, it will. It'll be we'll have to name it like email list only funnel, so that we're not linking to it, in the future through something else. But yeah, just clone the funnel and change the price. We'll have to go into the product and add a price, a new price to the product, and then clone the funnel and update the price to reflect the new one. And then that's the link that you use in the emails.
Lots of steps.
Yeah, but they're all the same. All the same steps. Once you, it's like digging a trench. Once you learn how to stick the shovel in the ground and sling the mud, then after that it's easy. It just takes work.
And I might have some time here today. I can probably go in and just clone that. I mean, we're only talking at this point, at least the 4 to start, and then we got to get the course collection one, or the create your course one. And at your point, Troy, it's just copy paste and throw a discount, slap a discount sticker on it. So
Do you have to clone the product?
No.
Or just to offer a second price?
Yeah. Hey, Jim, can you bring up Carter? Hit edit.
yeah. Sorry, it's been a hot minute.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I think when we get into pricing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you gotta go through and save and next.
oh, right,
on
the save
everything.
next, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think here we can just add a price
Add
point
price
and one time.
and label it like email only, email offer only, or something like that.
Right. I don't really want to make a change. What's the what price do we want to go with on this one while we're in here? Do we want to? I mean, this is our $20 course. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Drop it down to $9. Give it to them for 50% off. Well, let's do like $8.98 or $8.97 or something like that. But that's your price description. So up there, that on that, put down like email offer or email list offer or something like that. And you got to go up to the top and hit save on that. And you want the thank you the same, and yep, you'll leave all those. So that should be a Kartra page on the thank you. So price number 2, Kartra page, and then cohort, and then thank you. So we're gonna want to tag them. Oh, and do a cart abandon tag. So they're coming in from the email. So yeah, we're gonna want to tag them and pick your price point and tag them. This is assuming they're still a lead. They're not an actual customer who's been buying. So find Civ lead. Yeah, the Civ lead and cart abandon. Nope, go up one, cart abandon. Yeah, and we're gonna create a new tag underneath tag over there. Nope, underneath. Yep. And name this like lead cart abandon from email list. Alright. And lead cart abandon. Keep going down to leads. You're in affiliates. There you go. Lead cart abandon. And then create. And go up and save that one. Or that's on price point 2, right? Yeah, save it. And so we'll tag them the same. It doesn't matter that they're buying from an email list. We'll just tag them the same so that we're not offering them a how-to digital course in the future. And so you'll have to tag your customers. So price point 2 needs a tag.
Customer cohort
Customer course
or
collection.
collection.
Mhm. And then add it. And you have to say that. And then we're not going to do any automations in here because we'll do that in the sequence. And yeah.
Do you do anything with this code?
Yep. Once we create the new
The
funnel,
landing.
yep, you put that in the funnel as part of our tracking. So every funnel lander that you have for that product, make sure that's in the code of that lander. Right, and then that's it. So now
One more to go.
now you've updated, now you've updated the product. Now you, do 4 more, update the rest of the products, and then we can clone the landers, clone the funnels, update them with the email list price point, and then we're done.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So easy.
As he rolls his eyes. It really is. It's just a what's next. What's next? What's next? What's next? You just have to answer that each and every time. Cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah. We made good progress today, I think.
Agreed.
A lot of homework. It's good that bubbles that Matt had up there was definitely helpful to put it into perspective.
Visualize it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're okay with a call on 4th of July?
Yeah, I'm good for it.
Jim?
Yeah. Probably do a quick one. Maybe we can do it. I'm sure my wife's gonna have a lot of family stuff planned for us here, so her being off, it's her birthday week too, so she likes to spend time together. I don't know why she likes to spend time with me, but
I like to spend time with you. You saying we have bad taste in people? What the hell?
well, I mean, just look at the 4 of us.
Touche.
Nah, it'd probably be good for a good call Thursday. At least to touch base on where we're at. And I know we got a lot of moving pieces going on there, so it's I don't anticipate having all these emails written and built out in Kartra. Maybe we will.
Well, remember we were aiming to have this
Yeah.
campaign launched on the 4th.
Right.
That's still the goal I'm shooting for.
Do we want a simple form or something to send out to our current socials that isn't a lead magnet? Just says, hey, do me a favor, sign up for our distribution list.
Certainly could. Yeah, certainly could.
How hard is that? Do we have anything like that out there? I don't think so.
Google. Just use a Google form.
So you're saying have them opt in before we start sending the emails to them? Before we start launching into the campaign? If they don't
I think
join the list, they're not.
I think he's meaning just in the social network, just to is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, I think that if I could just send out a simple page that says, hey, join our email distribution list, there's going to be offers that you can't get elsewhere. If nothing else, maybe give us feedback.
Yep.
And we might get some folks in there that wouldn't sign up. They may not want the workbook.
Yeah, I say do it.
I just don't think we have, that doesn't exist just yet. Google form. Okay, just throwing that out there as an idea.
We can do that in Kartra as a opt-in form.
Mm-hmm.
That way we have that automation then to capture them as a. That way we're not going from a Google form and then uploading it into Kartra.
Yeah, that'd probably be easier. All right.
Cool.
So I'll talk to you guys Thursday.
Thursday.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right. See you,
Later,
gents.
fellas.